Cool. Bada bing, bada boom. Folks, how we doing? Back at it like a crack addict. Episode 4 of MMA Today. Coming off the Grant Dawson and Bobby Green card. That was yesterday. Pretty crazy card. A lot of big upsets. We'll talk about that in a minute. Just in MMA news, a few topics, things that kind of came out during the week. Conor McGregor announced that he is back in the USADA testing pool. Well, at least per Dana White, he's submitted his paperwork to be in the testing pool. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. But it seems like as of hopefully tomorrow, Monday, he'll be in the testing pool, October 9th. Yeah. So that'll be big news. That'll put him on track to return for UFC 300. UFC 300, I know they're going to go crazy in terms of stacking that card with names and fights. I definitely think Conor McGregor will probably be on that. He'll be pushing for that. And the UFC would definitely try to push for that, whatever fight that would be. Michael Chandler, I don't know. I could see them. It would be cool if they could get a fight off before that and then push some corny. It would be really bad for the integrity of the rankings and everything, but pushing him into some corny title fight. But yeah, I don't know. That's a whole another topic for another time. I could see Sean O'Malley potentially trying to get on that card because he's hopefully gonna fight in January now, is what it looks like, on the Volt card with Topuria. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So I could see Sean maybe trying to make a quick turnaround, getting on that card. Jim Miller, 100%, definitely think Jim Miller will be on that card. He's voiced his desire to want to be on UFC 300. He was on UFC 100, 200, and 300. That'd be a pretty cool feat, just in terms of the tenure in the sport. Being around that long is not a very easy thing to do. I don't know who else they could throw on there. I could see maybe John Jones having like a retirement fight if he beats Stipe in November next month, and then I don't know who they'd maybe Pavlovich, and then that could be like a retirement fight for him. I don't know, but I imagine they'll do like at least 3 or 4 title fights. I could see him going crazy and doing 5 title fights. That would be awesome. But I'm excited for UFC 300 because I know they're going to go crazy. Big fights coming up here, at least with November, December, January, and then hopefully the spring of 2024 will be pretty stacked as well. But yeah, Conor McGregor back in the testing pool. That's a step forward. So hopefully we'll be seeing him back soon, but definitely not holding my breath on any of that. Yesterday, though, as I mentioned, we had the Grant Dawson Bobby Green card. You also had UFC Bellator 300. I didn't watch that at all. I just kind of saw some of the finishes or how some of the fights played out. I saw that Liz Camuch, she won. Cyborg knocked out Kat Zingano in the first round. That was kind of a weird. I needed to see like a different angle or watch a slow-mo. I just saw one clip of it and it looked like a weird knockout. And then I saw Usman Nurmagomedov, which I expected to see him win that fight. I'm pretty curious to see how he's gonna end up in the UFC, because I think I talked about last week how he's been in talks with signing with the UFC, which would be very, very interesting. I think he's got a very interesting style because he's got that Dagestani wrestling, but he's got a lot of kicks. If anybody's watched his brother Umar fight in the bantamweight division in the UFC, pretty similar style in terms of how they use their kicks with range, and then they obviously close the distance with their takedowns. So it'll be interesting to inject someone like that into the lightweight division and see how he does against some of the best guys in the world, because that division is a shark tank. So that would be quite interesting. Going over some of the fights, though, from last night. First few fights, you had the De La Rosa, JJ Aldrich fight. That was okay fight, upset there. And then you had the Johnny Munoz and Alurine King. I apologize because I can never pronounce that name, but the Mongolian Murderer. That was another upset as well. He was a minus 108 underdog. Vanessa Demopoulos, I put money on that. That was a nice little win. That was an interesting fight because if you're going off of damage, which is the number one scoring criteria for the judges, Demopoulos definitely got her on the damage. Murata definitely had a lot of ground time, but she didn't do much with the ground time. Demopoulos was throwing up submission attempts. She was honestly striking more off her back, throwing elbows, punching her, just being a lot more active. And I think that's why she won. She was a plus 300 dog. I think I got her at like plus 410 or something like that. So that was a nice win. Card started off with three underdogs winning, and then going up to the Nate Manis fight. Nate Manis plus 235 underdog. Knocked out Matush Madalka in the first round. I had money on Madalka, but hate to see that. I don't know. I didn't have the sound on during that fight. I was watching some baseball as well, so didn't really get to hear the commentary as to what was going on. But just looked like Manis was beating him positionally in some of the grappling exchanges. Got Madalka in a bad spot and TKO'd him. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Diana Belbita. Karolina Kowalkiewicz got the dub there. That one didn't really surprise me. Bill Algeo and Alexander Hernandez. Bill Algeo being the slight underdog. Basically what was a pick'em fight. It was a pretty back and forth fight. They were both landing some shots, but I think Algeo was definitely the more active fighter, and I think he did a little more damage too if you were looking at the faces after the fight. I think I've said this before, but I've just never really been a fan of Alexander Hernandez ever since that Cowboy Cerrone exchange a few years back. I love to see Cowboy Cerrone have that performance that he did. I don't know why. They just put a bad taste in my mouth about Alexander Hernandez. Sure, he's not a bad fighter. I think he's a pretty decent fighter. And I'm sure he's probably, actually, I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's a very likable guy in some of his interviews. He tries to play into the heel, but I don't know. I haven't really been a big fan of him. Put a sour taste in my mouth, but Algeo with the underdog, get the dub there. Drew Dober, Ricky Glenn. Drew Dober got the first round knockout. I pretty much saw that coming. Drew Dober's got some of them. I think he's up there with some of the most knockouts. He might even have the most knockouts in the lightweight division. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, that might be Charles Oliveira. I don't know what I'm saying there. But Drew Dober's definitely up there. Alex Morono, Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley got the unanimous decision there. Joe Pfeiffer and Abdul Razak Alassane. Pfeiffer looked pretty dominant. He was beating up Alassane. There was a few moments when Alassane would land some shots as well. But I think Pfeiffer looked pretty dominant, and ultimately got the submission in the second round. And then going on to the main event, that was fast. 33 seconds? Bobby Green basically knocked him out with a straight punch. I think it was his left hand. Just perfect shot. I think Bobby Green's style is so weird because he fires from the hip. I don't think Dawson really saw it coming, but I didn't see that coming. I had money on Dawson. I think I had Dawson at like minus 520 or something like that. And he was the last leg of two parlays, and I was like, oh, I'm just like chilling. I didn't think there was anything that I thought I was just in the clear with the bet, but Grant Dawson got knocked out in the first round. But honestly, that was very impressive for Bobby Green. He was unranked, so now he's going to be coming in most likely at number 10 in the lightweight division, and that would hopefully poise him in a position for a Paddy Pimblett fight. I would like to see that. I hope Tony Ferguson beats Paddy Pimblett, but if somehow he beats Tony Ferguson, I would love for the UFC to try to set up a Bobby Green Paddy Pimblett fight, because that would be very, very interesting. Grant Dawson, though, that sucks. I think he's now at 2 losses. He may, but I don't know if he was undefeated or not. Let me see. He at least, if he wasn't undefeated, he only had 1 loss. But now he has 1 loss now, so he's 20-1. But I think Grant Dawson has a pretty bright future. Just sucks. Sometimes stuff like that happens in the sport, but Bobby Green's no joke. You definitely got to be ready for the speed and the shots that he's going to land. But pretty impressive performance from Bobby Green. Moving on, though, to the card next week, another fight night. Fight nights have been kind of, I mean, that last main event was kind of cool because it was a first-round knockout so quick, but I feel like not fights that really get you excited. Kind of same thing with this main event next week. You got Sadiq Yusuf and Edson Barboza. Barboza, I don't even know how old he is. I'm surprised. He's definitely on the tail end of his career, but still getting main events. He's probably got a nice little contract at the UFC, so he's probably just fighting that out and then probably going to retire. But starting the card off, you have Ashley Yoder and Emily Ducote. Probably going to go with Ducote in this matchup, but I mean, based off of last week, there's a lot of upsets, so you never know. Chris Gutierrez and Athelin Gali. I'm definitely butchering that as well. But I'm going to go with Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez trains at a Factory X, I believe. And that style, that Muay Thai style they have, I think he'll probably just chew up his opponent's legs. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe he got it with a TKO, but I'm a big fan of Chris Gutierrez and that style that a lot of those guys in that gym fight with. Arena Alasiba and Melissa Dixon. Not familiar with either of these two fighters. I feel like I've maybe seen Arena if she fought recently in 2023 and it was like her debut fight. But Melissa Dixon, I'm not familiar, so I really don't know who to predict in this fight. Moving forward to Chris Duncan and Terrence McKinney. Chris Duncan, based off his Contender Series fight, I can't tell if he was chinny or not. There was a few times where it looked like he almost got knocked out. Terrence McKinney, on the other hand, is he usually just comes out guns blazing in the first round. It's either like first round or bust for him. But based off of kind of what I've seen from both of these fighters, there's no odds on this website right here, but I'm assuming that Terrence McKinney is probably the favorite. I wouldn't be surprised if Terrence McKinney just kind of ran through and caught him in the first round because that's kind of his style. But Terrence McKinney kind of, I don't know, maybe he tapers back this fight and doesn't try to go balls to the wall in the first round, but most likely I'm going to be picking Terrence McKinney by finish in that matchup. Tainara Lisboa and the Daria Zelas Canova. Not familiar with either of these two fighters as well, so I don't really know how to predict something that I'm not familiar or not knowledgeable on. Darren Elkins, TJ Brown. Darren Elkins, I'm a fan of Darren Elkins. This actually seems like a pretty winnable fight for him. Unfortunately, though, I feel like he's definitely on the downslide on his career. In terms of age, he's definitely getting up there. And his nickname's The Damage, but he's taken a lot of damage in his career. And you can only take so much. And I think you can kind of see it catching up to him in his past few fights. I feel like if you listen to some of his interviews, I hate to say this or hate to even hear it, but if you listen to some of his interviews, from a few years ago, and then you progressively listen to him more and more, I feel like you can kind of hear his speech get a little bit worse. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like when you listen to boxers, like kind of how when their words kind of like, it's not like a clear, it's like everything kind of just is like a continuous thing. There's not like separation in the words, or I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. You guys go check it out and decide for yourself. But Darren Elkins definitely put up some exciting fights in his career, and definitely gave blood, sweat, tears, and all for the fans. So shout out to Darren Elkins. Christian Rodriguez, Cameron Simon. This is an interesting matchup because Christian Rodriguez is actually a very skilled guy, and so is Cameron Simon. Christian Rodriguez just beat Raul Rosas Jr., upset a young prospect in the UFC. Cameron Simon's like 21, 22 maybe. Another young guy as well. So maybe that's why they got Rodriguez as the slight favorite. Honestly, I would go with Simon in this matchup, but both these guys are very, very skilled, both young fighters. And definitely both, I could see both these guys being ranked in the division in the future. Personally, though, I'm going to probably go with Cameron Simon. Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda. Probably going to go with Daniel Lacerda. I believe he trains out of Shoot the Box. I'm a big fan of it's another gym that I'm a fan of their style, so I'm going to be picking Daniel Lacerda in this matchup. Marc-Andre Barriault and Michel Pereira. This is an interesting fight. Barriault has a very interesting style where I feel like he just like throws bombs, just wings overhands. Pereira is another unorthodox, wild style where I don't even know how to describe some of the strikes that he throws. But this is an interesting matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight didn't go the distance. Probably going to pick Pereira, though, in this matchup. Adrian Yanez, Jonathan Martinez. This is an exciting matchup. I like Adrian Yanez's style. Jonathan Martinez, I think, trains at Factory X. So I like, you saw that matchup against Cub Swanson where he just chewed up Cub Swanson's legs. TKO'd him with leg kicks, I think, in the first round. First or second round. It was pretty quick, but that's a very interesting style. Yanez is a very clean boxing style. I'm a fan of Yanez's style. Probably going to be leaning towards Yanez, but that might just be biased because I'm a bigger fan of Yanez. But that's going to be my prediction in that fight. Jennifer Maia and Viviane Araújo. This is an interesting matchup. Probably going to be going with Jennifer Maia, but I wouldn't be surprised if the underdog and Araújo pulled out the dub. Sadiq Youssef, Edson Barboza. This is an interesting fight. I really don't know how to predict this because Sadiq Youssef is very good. He's very skilled, but I feel like big fights, when he needs to show up, he doesn't necessarily show up sometimes. Edson Barboza's been around the block. He's in a weight class below probably where he should be. but he's got a lot of experience, a very, very good kickboxing, a very fast kickboxing style, fast switch kicks, spinning back kicks. Definitely could knock out Sadiq Yusuff. This will probably be a fight that stays on the feet, would be my guess. And if this is a striking matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if Edson Barboza started wearing on Yusuff with some leg kicks. Yusuff would most likely, in my opinion, have to get Barboza out like under 2.5 rounds. I think if it goes over a 2.5, 3 round mark, Barboza would probably take over and eventually just start wearing on Yusuff. A, because of his style, just body shots, leg kicks, that adds up. And I just think he'll be sharper over 5 rounds, having that experience. I don't think Yusuff's been 5 rounds before. Who knows? Barboza's definitely on the latter half of his career, so that's a factor. But I'm going to be leaning towards the veteran in this matchup. Who knows? There's a lot of upsets last weekend, so maybe there'll be some upsets this weekend. But that's pretty much how I see some of those fights going down. But I feel like, honestly, this time of the year has been pretty dry for the UFC, at least for some of the fights. There's not really like any big matchups up until the Jon Jones card. I want to see what maybe some of the upcoming fights after this next weekend, because the Jon Jones card is definitely one that's on my radar. Not doing anything. I was even looking at tickets this a few days ago, like yesterday, 2 days ago, trying to go to that. Tickets are still insane. I think after you like pay fees and everything, you're not getting out of there without paying like at least $1,000 per ticket. So most likely not happening. But if possible, I might try to go to the December card. I definitely want to go to another card here soon. Another thing too, logistically, with going to the NYC card and the Jon Jones card is I feel like navigating through New York City by myself, having never been there before, would be a nightmare. So most likely not going to do that. Later this month, we have Makhachev versus Oliveira, so that's going to be that'll be an exciting card. You have the main event, and then you have Khamzat Chimaev, Paulo Costa, Iskram Aliskerov, but I think his Nasruddin Imavov pulled out, so I'm not sure who his opponent's going to be. Johnny Walker, Muhammad Ankalaev. This whole main card's pretty solid. I'm excited for this pay-per-view. But then, yeah, November, you got the Jon Jones card, and then I feel like, honestly, a lot of the fights the rest of the year are pretty solid. And then, obviously, we have the December card, like I mentioned, Edwards and Covington. So we just got to make it through this rough patch, a little bit of dry spell in terms of matchups, and then we'll be right there over the hump with some more exciting fights. I don't know, is there any other, any of you guys, do you have any fights on your radar that you guys are trying to go to, or any fight recommendations that you think I should go to? I would like to see a fight in the Apex as well. I feel like getting that experience of being up close, I'm not sure, I think tickets are like $1,200-$1,400, something like that, so that's still a little pricey. But I think you get access to like a buffet, you get some souvenirs, and obviously you're up close, much closer to the cage than you would be most likely in a pay-per-view or a big arena. So maybe try to find a good main event, an exciting main event. Max Holloway likes to fight on Fight Nights. Try to find maybe a fight like that. That'd be an interesting fight in the Apex, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I definitely would like to go to another UFC event. Next one I go to as well, I'm going to try to do some like sidewalk style content, like asking people questions outside of the arena. I was thinking about that on the last one, UFC 293, the one that I went to in Boston. I was like, oh, that would have been the perfect thing to do, because standing outside of there were some characters, people were fired up. That was one of the craziest environments I've ever been in, just waiting in line to go into the TD Garden. Just people screaming, Sean O'Malley, and there was a few F. Aljo chants. It was just fun. And there was a few people that I would see. Like I saw Sean O'Malley's dad walk by. Bunch of like just random people in the MMA community. Alex Pereira walked right by me. Pop up a picture of that. That was pretty sweet. He literally like was 3 feet away from me, walked by and just went right up in the elevator. But it would be fun, yeah, if I next fight I go to, if I get some content outside and maybe make a whole vlog out of it. I was gonna do that with this fight, but then I was just I kind of decided that I wanted to soak up the moment and not be too caught up with trying to make a video. I really just wanted to experience it. So next one I go to, I definitely will be making a video. Comment down below if you guys have any recommendations or, you know, cards that you guys want to see or cards you want to see me go to. Or different, you know, ideas, suggestions, topics, segments for these type of videos. Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys want any guests on here, let me know who you guys want me to see. I'm thinking about maybe getting, there's a few people, amateur MMA fighters, pro MMA fighters that I might be trying to get on here. And then hopefully work my way up, maybe get some UFC fighters. So if you guys have anybody in the comment section below that you'd like to see me try to pursue or try to get an interview with, let me know. Any segments, topics you guys want me to talk about, let me know as well. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, I'll catch you guys later.